All right, everyone, welcome in. Bryce Gelman here today. Going to be talking Knicks trade deadline. We're running it back with @Knicks Central, Alex B, one of the Knicks Twitter goats. We're running it back. We're going to be talking all things Knicks. We're going to be talking all things NBA trade deadline and how it relates to the Knicks. The Knicks made one move. They traded away Jericho Sims. They got Delon Wright in return. It's not the flashiest move, but it is a move nonetheless. We're going to discuss that. Just waiting for Alex to come into the StreamYard here, into the recording, and then once he gets in there, we'll start. Well, I'll start myself. You know what? Because I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to, I haven't really offered my opinion, my thoughts on the Delon Wright trade, the Jericho Sims trade, whatever you want to call it. The Knicks acquire Delon Wright, and they trade Jericho Sims, and they kind of get it on the Chris Middleton deal, as you know. With all these different deals, you need a fourth team. Sometimes you need a third, or fourth, fifth team. You know what? Without further ado, let's bring him on. Alex B. What's up, Alex?
What's going on? Back. How you doing?
I'm doing well. The Knicks, the quiet deadline. I can't say I'm too surprised about that, but they obviously was just the Jericho Sims trade, getting right, a guy who's played once in the last 12 games, played 21 minutes the other night, had 1 point and went over 4 from the field. That isn't exactly the flashiest acquisition at the deadline, but Alex,
he's not going to play. He might not play. Probably won't make it to the end of the season. I don't know, but I don't care about Delon Wright. I was just at Delon, whatever. He's the filler. They had to dump Jericho Sims so they can add somebody in the buyout market, or at least call up TJ Warren, and that's really all it was. And, it was sad to see Jericho Sims go. I mean, he was very talented. He had a lot of promise coming in. And I thought, he could be a player, at least a backup center, on the team, but he never really improved. He never got better. His on-court IQ never improved. I'm being nice. And he's just athletic freak. I mean, he gave us some dunks in some moments, you know what I mean? And he played well at certain points, but he just, he couldn't hack it. And Huck Porty couldn't fill that void of the third string center when Mitchell Robinson comes back, who they're maybe rushing back now because of not rushing, but pushing up the timeline. Pushing up the time. They probably were gonna maybe another 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I think. But, now there's a lot of days off in between these back-to-backs all this month, which are ridiculous, and the All-Star break, that it's a good time to bring him back, so, and with OG hurt, et cetera. I'm going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're rushing him back, but I would say, they may be pushing up the date a little bit here, because I had Brian Geltzweiler on my YouTube last week. He didn't think that Mitch Robinson was coming back at all this year, which I think was kind of shocking at the time. He said that, and I'm like, really? What's up with that? And at the time, it kind of made sense, the idea of, all right, well, he was supposed to come back in December, then it was January, then it was February before the trade deadline, then it was before All-Star break, then it's after All-Star break, and now it appears that, it kind of does line up with what they were saying, but as you know, with the Knicks, they're infamously close to the hip when it comes to injury news and all that kind of stuff. But it appears the fact that the Knicks, and this is some news too, it's been reported in the last 24 hours, 48 hours, that the Knicks are done shopping Mitchell Robinson because of his injury timeline. I think that there was realistic concerns. And Geltz is in tune with all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff. He knows ball. And I think that he had to have known something from someone in the organization. There was a chance that the guy wasn't going to come back this year. He wouldn't have said it. So I think the fact that you got the confirmation, all right, he's on track here to return within the next few weeks. The Knicks understood, listen, Mitch is on a good deal when he's healthy. But with the new CBA, it's very difficult to facilitate a good trade. It's very difficult to, without including multiple second-round picks, without getting a third, fourth, fifth team involved. It makes way more sense to hold on to Mitch. You've got a 4-year window. We were talking about it the last time you were on a few weeks ago.
Right.
You got a 4-year window. And you got Mitchell Robinson on under contract for this year, and then descending contract $13.5 million next year. I think you don't need to cut your losses yet with Mitchell Robinson, Alex.
No, and admittedly so. I wouldn't call myself a stan, but I'm a big time Mitchell Robinson fan.
Yeah,
and I just feel that we watched him grow up as Knicks fans. We saw him as this raw guy who didn't even play in college, took a year off, just practiced, and is the final piece of that Carmelo Anthony trade to Oklahoma City, the second round pick that they got from them, and it was basically a first round pick, so high in the second. And it was just one of those situations where, you know, he's been here so much and there's nobody like when I was on Ian Begley show last week or 2 weeks ago, the putback, shout out to him. He was telling me that, you know, the types of guys that were available, like Jonas Valanciunas or Harrison Barnes, and these guys that can match up with the salary based on the CBA and the aprons and all that nonsense. There's nobody better than a healthy Mitchell Robinson. And at that point, you might as well just ride it out, at least for the season. You know, in the offseason, you see what you can do and restructure things if you need to. But just keep him, because he's shown that in the playoffs, he can guard anybody, as even Joel Embiid, and that's why you hurt him. You know what I mean? So it's like there's definitely players out there that are available, but there's nobody that compares to Mitchell Robinson. And since they are so capped out, there really wasn't much that they can do besides just dump Jericho Sims. And, you know, Huck Porty was obviously going to be the guy who's going to stay, since Dolan gave his seal of approval on him recently this week in the locker room. That must have made Jericho Sims feel great, you know, but it was time to go, you know, and, you know, bygones be bygones. I have no hard feelings to Jericho Sims. He had the worst dunk contest ever. But other than that, you know, it is what it is. He was a good Knick, you know, he played well. He did what he did what he could, you know. That's it.
I wouldn't say he was a good Knick. He was
an okay Knick. He was a nice guy.
He was a fan favorite at times when he was throwing down the lobs. Other than that, the guy showed no offensive promise whatsoever. You kind of saw the type of player that he was. The fact that he went 58th in that draft and the Knicks got him. He could jump out of the gym. The guy's got insane athleticism. The Knicks maybe thought, hey, we could maybe mold him into this player who, like a Dennis Rodman type, where he's grabbing every rebound because he could jump higher than everyone else in the gym. But obviously that didn't come to fruition. Jericho Sims traded, as we just mentioned. A few other names the Knicks were looking into have also been traded. One of them being, there wasn't necessarily a confirmation they were into him, but we were talking about it being in Brian Geltzeiler that the Knicks could potentially have some interest in Cody Martin. He really liked Cody Martin. That was his number one guy that he wanted to get. Of course, he was just traded. And Jonas Valanciunas traded as well. There's been a lot of movement around the Eastern Conference, specifically with these guys the Knicks wanted. I wanted to talk to you about this, though, because this is the thing that catches my eye the most. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers now being interested in DeAndre Hunter, and them currently being in talks with the Atlanta Hawks. This isn't just, I don't think there's enough to cover for us, you know, me and you.
Of course.
Just Knicks stuff. We're going to have to talk other stuff here, but this is interesting, very interesting, because this is the best team in the Eastern Conference record-wise, and they're going to get better. Your thoughts?
Right. Yeah, he's a good shooter, too. You know, so he's a good player. You know, I don't know why the Hawks would hand the Cavs DeAndre Hunter. It would have to be for something substantial, you know, draft compensation-wise. I mean, they just lost Jalen Johnson for the season, right? So they're a little screwed there. So, and they're teetering around the play-in tournament, so they know that they're cooked. So I don't know, but that'll be tough. I got to see what that final deal is. Maybe they get other teams involved. I don't know, but that'll be interesting for the Cavs to do. And the Cavs are started off so hot and they're so good, but like they're not winning games so convincingly anymore. They just needed a Darius Garland 3 from the logo to beat the Pistons.
That was pretty cool.
Yesterday, you know what I mean? And imagine if that happened with the Knicks, you know, Knicks Twitter, they'd be like, "Oh, it's not even a real win," you know. But with the Cavs, you know, they're crowned. Yeah. So you know, it is what it is. I mean, DeAndre Hunter it would be a great addition for the Cavs, and I mean, there's no denying that, and it would just make that team even better. But it depends on what they give up, you know. So we'll see how that goes, and you know, I'm just kind of happy that I'm relaxed as a Knicks fan in this trade deadline. I'm just like, whatever happens.
People don't understand. People don't understand what we've been through. These other fan bases just don't get it.
Right.
Every trade deadline, you're checking your phone. I mean, listen, but I'm talking more or less the last 4 or 5 years where the Knicks actually had the opportunity to improve, and you're sitting there, you know, twiddling your thumbs, thinking who the Knicks going to trade, and
pulling your hair out,
and most
refresh.
And most of the time, Alex, the Knicks didn't really pull the trigger on any big moves, which is great. You know, we'd have to sit there and get all excited just for them to lose in the playoffs. Last year, of course, they brought in Alec Burks, they brought in Bojan Bogdanovic. Alec Burks had maybe one good regular season game. Fans, I mean, I was calling for his head. I mean, I was
had one good playoff game when we were already eliminated, basically.
Yeah. I mean, listen. And now, and it's funny, and it's funny how that goes now, because now he's looked favorably among Knicks fans. The Knicks fans want to bring him back, but they forgot what he did over the No, I mean, so I think that it's definitely interesting. The Cavs being the best team in the Eastern Conference could get better. It's just like, what can the Knicks possibly do? And I just don't know what else is realistically out there. you know, with options here because you got Mitch coming back. They've already said essentially we are committing to Mitchell Robinson going forward. We want to see what we have with him. We trust his rehab enough. We trust what our doctors are telling us. The Mitch trade is the one trade piece that it was looked at as, okay, the Knicks are going to be able to move that in order to get the better win. Or the Knicks are going to be able to move that in order to get the better backup center. That's off the table now. Do you realistically think that there's a chance the Knicks make another move today? I don't.
No. 0%.
Yeah.
0%. I don't want to say zero. I'll say
I don't want to say
1%.
Yeah.
I'll say 1% chance because you never know. You know, somebody can drop, you know, something in your lap. They're not going to trade for Kevin Durant. Don't listen to the Scoopies of the world. Like that's a bunch of nonsense. That's a Knicks for clicks, old school tactic. Yes. Throw the Knicks to get in the algorithm, you know, and make your post, you know, explode a little more. There's no way they're getting Kevin Durant. It doesn't make sense. They would have to blow up their entire roster for an older player that keeps getting hurt. He's just a big name. You know what I mean? It is what it is. The Suns stink. You know, so it is what it is. But it'd be smart for the Suns to trade Kevin Durant if you want to go there. We can go there in a little bit. But like
100%.
I don't think the Knicks are going to do anything right now. I think that, you know, they're set where they are. Mitchell Robinson is like, I hate this. It's a big baseball term. I know you're a big baseball fan. Getting Mitchell Robinson back is like adding somebody.
There it is.
Is it trade?
Wait, hold on.
Uh-oh.
The Atlanta Hawks are trading forward DeAndre Hunter, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Karis LeVert, Georges Niang, 3 second-round picks, and 2 swaps. Thank you, Jack Cohen, who put me on that.
Your boy.
Thank you,
I see the sham tweet now. Yeah, so all right, Karis LeVert. I mean, that's DeAndre Hunter's better than that. The rest is just filler nonsense. But
okay.
Yeah.
Before today, I thought the Knicks easily handled the Cavs in a playoff series. I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't know. Here's the thing: if the Cavs stay the number 1 seed, somehow the Knicks need to get the number 2 seed here because they would play Boston at home, which would be massive. But Cleveland at the 1, there's no guarantee they get to where they want to be. Right. But I think adding DeAndre Hunter, solidifying the depth on their team, they didn't trade away Max Strus, who's been a big piece for them.
Yeah.
They just catapulted themselves into, I think, bigger favorites to win the championship than the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, the Cavs already had they already have the record, and now they have DeAndre Hunter. If they stay healthy, they're definitely one of the favorites out of the East. I mean, it's just nice to be in the top 3, you know what I mean? And be one of those teams. This game on Saturday is not the end-all be-all versus Celtics, but it's a big litmus test, and it'd be nice if OG was healthy, but at least, you know, my guess that they're going to make Mitchell Robinson come back for that game. I think it's looking like that's the game. You know what I mean? Why would you make him healthy and not make a trade and then he doesn't play against the Celtics on Saturday? I know he has to practice, so we'll see if he practices today or tomorrow, and then, you know, maybe he'll go. I don't know. We'll see. But at the end of the day, go ahead.
Here's a piece of news from Joe Cowley. I think he works for the Sun-Times in Chicago, and he is reporting the Knicks have been talking to the Bulls about some of Chicago's backcourt players. Huh.
What are they going to get?
I don't know the truth in that. I don't know how true
Kobe
that
White
is.
Kobe
White. I don't know. I don't know how the hell we're going to get Kobe White.
I know. I'm kidding.
Who else realistically is out there? They just re-signed Lonzo Ball, so he's out of the question.
And you don't want him.
You don't want a guy who missed three full years.
He's just happy to be playing, and I'm happy he's back. But no thanks. You know what I mean? Kind of.
I don't know who else. Like they've got Kevin Huerter.
Yeah,
that could be interesting. I don't know if they could trade him now. But I don't know how that works.
It's probably an off-season thing.
I don't know.
You know, for them, they're going to tank. Bulls are going to tank. Yeah, they're tanking now. They're going to have to. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't trade Vucevic. You know, I guess they just need somebody on the team. They're going to lose with him or would lose without him. So kind of like whatever. Kind of a situation for him.
I don't know, man. I don't
know.
I don't buy that. I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the roster right now.
And
I just who could it be? Like who would the Bulls realistically be willing to part with? They don't want to maybe Patrick Williams, but you're gonna have to give some capital for that. I would have.
And he's he's like a bust too. I mean, he's
exactly.
Okay.
They've given up on him.
Yeah, that's like
he's averaging he's shooting 37% from the field this year.
That's the kind of Precious Achiuwa addition that can help for the Knicks, but that's got to be like a throw in a trade that you're making, like how they got Precious Achiuwa. You know what I'm saying? Like
he's got value though. He's not a Precious guy. I'm looking at his stats right now. This is Patrick Williams. He went from shooting 44% from the field last year, 38% this year.
Wow,
38%.
Yeah,
everything
sign him in the offseason if you need some depth, but no thanks on a trade.
He's shooting 35% from 3. That's not the type of wing that you need. No. You need a 3-and-D guy. You need a guy shooting at least 38, 39% from deep.
For sure.
Playing solid defense. I don't know. I'm
I
just
don't know.
that I'm
But
out
Ao
on
maybe
that.
Ao's another guy, but he could
Yeah.
score. But these guys stink. You know what I mean? Like
People are
we're
saying
good.
Kobe
Yeah.
White in here. People are saying Kobe White. Thank you for giving some comments here. This is Ryan Cohen. He's you can assume Jack Cohen's brother. Yeah. He goes, give me Kobe White.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work out.
Take a few seconds and forget the cap and just get Kobe White. No.
Yeah, I don't know if that would put them into the, he's making 3 years, $36 million. You don't make that trade unless you're giving up Mitchell Robinson. That's
right.
That's the issue.
Right.
That's the issue.
Right.
And they're not doing that because why would you give up the remaining depth that you have in the front court to get other guard? The last thing Knicks need is a guard. They need a wing.
Exactly.
Kobe White, you wouldn't call him a wing. He's not a wing. He's short. No. He's not 6'7".
And then he cut his hair, so he's even shorter now too, right? So he cut his hair and he's even
he's 6'5". He's 6'5", but that's a guard. That's a guard.
Right.
No,
we're good. We're good.
Jack Cohen says Bulls have said Kevin Huerter is available. I think that makes a ton of sense. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. I really do.
Sure. But like again, what are we giving up? I'm not giving up Mitchell Robinson for that. It's just I think I'm just OG Anunoby getting hurt now really, really screwed a lot up. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, now like if they were going to trade Mitchell Robinson, they can't now. They really can't. Because now if they slide Mitch into the starting lineup eventually once he gets rolling and then you move everybody down a roster spot, then, you start Brunson, Bridges, Hart, Towns at the 4 and then Mitch. And then you're solid. You know what I'm saying? And that's good.
Alex, here's the one thing about a potential Mitch trade. Precious has been playing so well at the 4. He's coming to his own at the 4. So you're going to trade Mitch away and then have Precious be the backup big again?
Yeah.
You really want that?
Mini center.
How smart do you think that is?
Right.
He's been playing a lot better alongside Karl-Anthony Towns as the 4 as compared to when he was coming in for Karl-Anthony Towns in the middle of the game.
Right.
But why would you give that up?
Yeah,
I would. Another comment here. Chris Middleton buyout candidate, you can't. According to the CBA, if a player's making over $13-14 million, I forgot the exact number, and they get bought out, you can't sign.
I wouldn't want him anyway. So okay, well
you wouldn't want Chris Middleton.
He's too hurt. He's not reliable.
Cares, though? If you get him healthy, though, you're telling me he wouldn't
all right, maybe I don't know. I just wouldn't. I don't know. I guess he's got the experience, championship experience, and et cetera, et cetera. If you're going to add TJ Warren, you could add Chris Middleton, I guess.
Speaking of Huck Porty, which you just mentioned, I'm sorry I missed this. Anthony Cashman. Huck is a great backup for Mitch and can even play a lot of minutes while Mitch gets his legs and lungs back. Yeah, I definitely think that. I think it would be really quick for him to lose his minutes when Mitch comes back. Mitch shows even a semblance of competency. Huck Porty's back on the bench. Like that's just the reality of the situation. He's not going to be playing much. He won't be. But I definitely think
they need him.
There's a reason why they traded Sims. There's a reason why they traded Sims. And Huck Porty is a beast defensively. Offensively, he could use a lot of improvement, specifically on the screen and roll. And his rebounding isn't amazing. Mitch is a much better rebounder than him.
He's a kid. He's grown up. He's the last pick in the draft for a reason. He's raw. He's like Mitch. He's like a young Mitch, like we thought Sims was. But don't forget, Knicks fans were asking about Sims starting that year when he ended the season well and Mitch was hurt again, like another time. So we got to stop getting so excited by these guys. You know what I mean? Like Huck Porty or Sims.
The Knicks stand ETH. Mitch is a beast. People forgot.
They do. They forgot.
I know you've been on your high horse about Mitchell Robinson coming back and proving people wrong.
Right.
I cannot come out here and say that I'm as confident as you are, considering the fact that as multiple people have mentioned, this isn't Mitch's good. This isn't his bad ankle. This is supposedly his good ankle. I'm checking my phone every single time. No, this is
that's why I keep looking away. I'm looking at my my Twitter.
Open, I mean, listen, you gotta be quick with this stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Mitch coming back, 2 bad ankles.
Yeah.
Alex, I don't know, man. I want to sit here and I want to tell you that I'm confident in what he can provide off the bench as a center and as a beast that he is. It's difficult. It's difficult. You don't know what kind of player he's going to be when he comes back. You just don't.
I don't know, but if you look at it this way, it's kind of a funny way to look at it. He has a lot of experience coming back from injuries, Mitchell Robinson. So he knows how to ramp himself back up. He knows how to get back in the flow of it.
With the other ankle, not the good ankle. That's the difficulty. He's on 2 bad ankles now.
I just have a feeling. I don't know. I don't have any sources. I don't have anything like any advanced knowledge. I'm not going to practice. I just have a feeling he's going to be totally fine. He's been sitting for a long time. He's chomping at the bit to go. He was pissed off that he almost got traded in the offseason in that deal for Towns. Originally, the deal Ian Begley reported it was Randall and Mitchell Robinson for Towns, but the Timberwolves didn't want that because why the hell would they want Mitchell Robinson with Rudy Gobert?
Yeah.
And they didn't want to trade Dante. And eventually, right before the trade, they finally said, fine, we'll give you Dante. They wanted to keep Dante. And Mitchell Robinson got pissed. And he put out some cryptic social media posts, and he's been hurt, and he's been rehabbing away from the team. Now he's back in with the team. He's going to practice soon. Josh Hart and him are getting into it on IG again, having fun. Welcome the Demon back. He is going to come and hit the ground running, and it's going to give us to give the Knicks another layer that they've been missing, and that's a shot blocking presence. And Mitchell Robinson just being on the floor. And maybe even if he's not what he was, if he's 90% of what he was, being on the floor changes shots, and it changes the way teams drive into the lane. Right now, they are not scared. Towns is not a good shot blocker. I mean, he blocks some shots because he's tall, but he's not a good shot blocker, and he's not a good defender. He makes a lot of dumb fouls, and too much complaining. And it's just Mitchell Robinson is just this aloof. He's just a chill dude. He's just going to come in, block some shots, and he blocks the shots like gets Clyde excited every single night, blocks shots, and doesn't swat it into the fifth row. He blocks it and taps it and keeps it in play and gets the play. Mm-hmm. These are little things that happen in a game that are winning plays and winning. And he can guard 1 through 5 on occasions as well. He can put the ball on the floor sometimes. We've seen too. He's got a lot there, and he just can't stay healthy, which is the most frustrating thing. But now in this kind of role, I think that Tibbs is not going to play in 40 minutes. You know what I mean? He never did. It was always 25, 30 with Mitch anyway. So I think he's going to be fine. It's just my opinion.
I have an interesting point here that I'm kind of I've been thinking about it, and the idea of it kind of makes sense.
Okay.
What if the Knicks came out and they leaked what they leaked about feeling great about where Mitch is to increase his trade value? What if they did that? What if they went out there, because they keep things close to the hip? You don't find out what the Knicks are feeling. You knew they were interested in Towns. You knew they kind of had some interest in Anunoby, but that's different. You usually don't hear much about the guys they want to trade. There was nothing ever about the Knicks really want to trade Emmanuel. They're shopping Emmanuel quickly because they couldn't come to an extension with him, and he's going to become a restricted free agent. There was never anything about RJ Barrett. There was never anything about Julius Randle. It's more been about the guys they're looking for. But maybe you think there's a possibility that they leaked that because they want to up his value?
I think there was a possibility. I think that's definitely possible. I think that the moment might have passed, though, with all the guys off the board that they could have traded for. I mean, like you said, you never know. The Knicks don't leak, but Josh Hart is kind of in that inner circle. He's not at the table. He's not like, let's say you're talking about a board meeting and like Jalen Brunson's on the board, Leon Rose on the board, James Dolan obviously is the chairman of the board. You got all the guys there, Willard Wild West, et cetera, et cetera. Josh Hart's in the room, but he's not at the table. He knows the conversations that are going on, and he's not gonna put forth, these comments on IG and then all of a sudden he looks like an idiot. I mean, he's just like one of those guys. Like, he's given hints in the past of things that are going to happen. Like, we're going to do this, and then it happens, or you know what I mean? Like things like that. He's been dropping hints for the last 2 years since he's been here. So I don't think he does that.
Did he know about the Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo trade?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. So.
But Dante DiVincenzo wasn't at the roommates event at Central Park, and that was before the trade. So I know he just had a baby, but he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So like, you never know. These guys know, man. They know what's going on, especially the way that
I don't know if DiVincenzo knew. I don't know if DiVincenzo knew.
I know. They knew about the Mitch. They knew about Randall was going. I mean, they did. They had to know. But that's what made it so weird that he had that meeting. Remember, he had that. Sorry to cut you off. Remember, he had that event somewhere where Julius Randle was opening the school.
The Earl Row.
Yeah, and Tibbs is sitting next to Randall at this event and smiling and everything, and then the next day Randall's traded. It's just like Tibbs had to know at that moment. Maybe Randall even knew. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's a business, and they get it. You know what I mean? And sometimes the moments pass, and like, we didn't know RJ Barrett was getting traded, and I think that was more from our heart. But there were rumblings about it. Ian Begley dropped some hints here and there about RJ. Might be going, and it kind of writing was on the wall.
That was a years long. Yeah, that wasn't like okay.
Yeah,
like,
there were some things out there, and it kind of looking back, it kind of made sense because RJ couldn't be the player that he wants to be on this team with Jalen Brunson needing the ball, Randall needing the ball. Eventually Towns needing the ball. You know what I mean? Like, he's a guy. He's just not. He's not a star, like not a superstar. He could be an all-star level player one day. but like he's not the guy who's going to demand the ball over these guys. He's always going to be the third option. It was time for him to go, and he can go home. It's just like, all right, whatever, you know.
Yeah, he needs to thrive elsewhere. And the Raptors, they made a move yesterday for Brandon Ingram, which I thought was interesting. They've got a pretty solid team on paper. They're like, I don't know. I think at their best, a healthy season, what are they, 5-6 in the Eastern Conference?
Right.
And that's not saying much.
Brandon Ingram's he's not a winning player, though, Brandon Ingram. He's never been on winning teams. His record in the NBA is way under 500. He's been to the playoffs twice in 9 years. You know, Nets fans getting excited that the Raptors are out of the tank hunt because they got Brandon Ingram. I got another thing. You got another thing coming. You know, he's not going to win a lot of games, and he's not even healthy, I don't think, right now. So it is what it is. That move by the Raptors is for next year. You know, because RJ's banged up, Quickly's been banged up. They're going to try to get a nice pick, and then they're going to, you know, see how it does for them next year. You know, so we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. Going forward with this, the way the Eastern Conference is shaking out. Yeah. Damn, the Hunter deal. We just talked about it. If you missed it, you could scroll back after we're done here. I don't know if you could do that live, maybe on YouTube.
No, probably not.
But yeah, so DeAndre Hunter was just traded to the Cavs, and the Cavs being the number one team in the Eastern Conference, I think the number one team in the NBA record-wise, maybe the Thunder, I don't know which team, I think they go back and forth. But that is a massive deal, and one that changes the trajectory of how this Eastern Conference is going to shake out this year. And as I said before, I think that, you know, the Knicks were the number 2 team in the East, not record-wise, but the teams that could win a championship. They were the number 2 team behind Boston. I don't know if they're number 3 now. I think there's a chance they took a step back. We've got Ryan
Hunter,
saying here.
You're a big Hunter guy here.
Huh? He's averaging 19 and 8 or something like that. He's averaging 19 points. Really good player. If they still make a move by 3 p.m., are you uncomfortable with the wing depth? Yeah.
A little bit. But you know what? The Knicks are good. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks are good. They're 34-17. You know what I mean? They're the 3 seed in the East. You know, maybe the 5th or 6th best record in the entire NBA. Like, you need Mitch back, and you need him back. But at the end of the day, you need him back by the playoffs. You need OG back by the playoffs. Like, they're going to be fine. They're going to be a top 3 team. You know, the Bucks aren't catching them. You know, they're only 2 games back at the Celtics. You know, they can end up as a 2 seed. You never know. They're not going to probably catch the Cavs. They're 7 games back of them, right? 7.5 or so. So it is what it is there. I think they're going to be fine. I think the Knicks are going to be fine, with or without a wing depth. You know, as long as they stay healthy.
We got Untamed say Hunter to the Cavs is sick. Yeah, it is. Definitely sick for them. I mean, that's a massive addition. And I mean, look at the Eastern Conference teams that have a chance among the contenders. Is that a bigger move? I don't consider Milwaukee a contender. I don't. I just do not think that they have what it takes to contend. I really don't.
Kuzma doesn't do anything for me either. Yeah, no.
He doesn't. He doesn't. I think that's the biggest move that has been made thus far among the top 3 teams. Of course. I mean, the Celtics haven't done anything. The Knicks' biggest trade was the only trade they made was trading away Jericho Sims for DeLon Wright. I don't know. We're about an hour away now, and the live's only going to go a few more minutes because I've got work. So I just wanted to get something out there. But we got an hour left to the deadline, and give me your prediction. I know this is high pressure shit.
It's just a lot. The heat's up in here. That's why I need to shut down.
Yeah, that's why I turned my AC on before, because God forbid that. I've been there before, my friend. Yeah. So last prediction, they're not going to make a trade, right?
No, Knicks are not making a trade. No chance. Knicks made their move. That was the only move they can do. They're not getting Kevin Durant. Don't believe the nonsense, the Knicks for clicks nonsense. Yeah. They're going to get Mitchell Robinson healthy. Hopefully OG's not out too long. Maybe just keep him out till after the All-Star break and see how that goes. And let's rock, let's rock. And that's it. And they'll call up TJ Warren. They'll add somebody in the buyout market. Like, remember in the 54-win Melo year, randomly out of nowhere, Kenyon Martin's on the Knicks. You know what I mean? A buyout candidate. Guys want to come to good teams. And it was weird at the time because the Knicks hadn't been good for a decade. I mean, they were good the 2 years prior to the first round exits, but before that, they hadn't been good in a decade. So it was weird to see Kenyon Martin be like, I want to go to the Knicks. I have my choice, but I want to go to the Knicks. It's like, all right, there's going to be a guy like that. We don't know who it is. You guys can guess all you want. We have no idea, but there's going to be a buyout guy that can help the Knicks somewhere soon. And TJ Warren's going to be up. That's probably a guarantee. Other than that, let's see. Let's see what happens.
But again, it's going to have to be a guy who wasn't making much money.
Right.
That's the issue. with the new CBA, which just screws any good team in the league, which honestly might be a good thing because I think the Thunder will win the championship for the next 5 years. They're going to have to make those picks, unfortunately for them. But it's difficult with this new CBA. And Geltz, Geltz was explaining this to me earlier today, and it sucks. It does because I think a lot of people wanted that. They wanted
it's confusing. It sucks.
I mean, they got Shake Milton last year in the buyout market. What did he do? Nothing.
And he's actually played well this year. They could have given him something, he didn't play at all.
Yeah.
Which I understand. You add it at the end of the season. I'm not even killing Tibbs for that. And like we relax on killing Tibbs and Leon Rose for not making the trades. And Mikal Bridges got traded for 5 picks. It's context. You know what I'm saying? And the Lakers trade for Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic was crazy. But only got 1 pick for Luka Doncic. So, but they got Anthony Davis. Like I understand. Like, and we talked about this on my podcast, Bad Weather Fans, that how many picks is Anthony Davis worth if it's just him for picks? It's probably 3, 2. You know what I mean? So like you add 2 or 3 plus 1, that's like 4. You're almost at the amount that Mikal Bridges got traded for plus Bogdanovich. And Mikal Bridges had that. You had that in-city tax also. You know what I'm saying? And the Knicks and the Nets knew the Knicks had to get off some of these picks because they couldn't fit it in under their aprons based on the way their cap was. So they squeezed the Knicks. I mean, it's smart for them, but it's just context of all these things. Stop acting like Leon Rose is doing something wrong. Stop acting like you're mad because you're not. It's just a fucking act. I
have a bone to pick, and we're gonna wrap here. But I have a bone to pick with these fans who've got an issue with everything Tom Thibodeau does. Everything.
Right.
The guy can't do anything right. The second he wins 10 straight games, like all right, good. This is how they should be. The second he loses one, you're calling for his head. I mean, what do we got? We got Triple M saying Leon Rose is sleeping.
He's trolling. He's trolling.
If I had that meme of Leon Rose sleeping, I'd put it up here. Listen, is he sleeping?
He could be sleeping. I mean, that's fine. There's nothing for him to do. So let him get a nap, man. He's a little older. let him have some sleep.
You know what I mean? If he's sleeping, good for him. Honestly.
Yeah, whatever. The game's not till Saturday. He can sleep. Whatever. He made his trade. It is what it is. I mean, I was a big the proponent of not liking Tibbs. Like I didn't like him at all, and I thought he should go, and I thought he should play other players. But you know what? He's proved to me he can do what he's done a good job with the complete roster overhauls almost every year. Leon Rose has done a good job ever since 2022 in the Fournier and Kemba nonsense. Ever since then, every single move he's made he's knocked it out of the park. Grand slams, walk-off homers. Like it's just like give these guys some leeway here. They were in the second round last year. They would have gotten the conference finals if they stayed healthy. They were up 2-0 on the Pacers, and then OG went down, and they weren't even fully healthy when OG went down. And then the wheels fell off. So just have some patience here. They're the 3rd seed. They're one of the best teams in the NBA. They're a title contender. They're gonna be fine. Just relax. You don't have to kill Leon Rose on everything.
So you got Alex saying this. You better freaking believe.
Right. You better prove it to me. Like that's the thing. Negative. It was never Bryce. Really quick. It was never an act for me. The angry I got, I was just angry because I needed them to prove it to me, and they did. So they proved it to me. So stop bugging out about everything. Like if I'm being positive, you have to understand that this team is good. 2 years in a row in the second round, winning rounds in the playoffs. Punching people in the mouth on the road in Cleveland and in Philly in those atmospheres. Give me a break. Give these guys some credit and give them this team is good. They have 2 superstars on the roster, 2 starters in the All-Star game. And we're mad. We're mad because we didn't get DeAndre Hunter. We're mad because we didn't get Jonas Valanciunas washed up. Give me a break. Just chill. That's all I have to say. Just chill the fuck out. Stop acting. Stop acting confused. Just give your own take and be honest. It's okay to be honest and be happy. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
I got nothing to say. I know you're
dying. I got to turn the heat down in here, man. It's fucking crazy.
You need to turn the heat down on these takes.
My wife jacks up the heat because she gets cold all the time, and I'm fucking sweating my ass off here, getting hot about these Knicks.
All right, so you know what I mean? Listen, this was a blast. This is a blast again. Keep it locked on Knicks Central for anything Alex B wants to scream about. Also catch him on the Bad Weather Fans podcast. I still don't understand how you do a podcast with a Nets fan. I don't know how you found a Nets fan to do a podcast with. There are not many of them. And also, if you like what you heard, at Bryce Gelman on X and YouTube, we're gonna absolutely run this back again. Plenty of Knicks stuff to talk about in the coming weeks. But Alex, until then, thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Bryce. Talk to you soon.